All right, here it is, the all-new Palm Centro available on Sprint, a Palm OS, sort of like a Treo, but not quite. There you go. They've got some documentation, very nice, and a little battery, not too shabby, not too powerful a battery either. And there is the Centro itself. As you can see, it is very, very small. Now look at this. The little screen protector that they have on there is actually really informative. They've got the 800 number that you can call to get free setup assistance, and I think that's really great that they're aiming for new users and they make it really obvious for new users what they can do to learn how to set up the phone. So I'm really pleased about that. So let's pop the battery in and take a look. The battery is 1150 milliamps, a very small battery. Gives you about 3.5 hours of talk time or so. And so you can see it's booting up there, and you can see there's the micro SD card slot and the infrared port on the side. And let's take a round and look at the device. It's very solidly built. It feels great in the hand. There's the Athena connector. There's the ringer switch. There's the back of the phone. There you go. It's pretty much what you expect. So I think the thing to do now is let's compare it to some of the devices that are actually the competing devices on the market out there today. And the first one I'm going to put it up against is, the Treo 680, the GSM consumer Treo as it's known. And you can see it is much shorter and a little bit thinner. It's hard really to show you here, but it really does feel way, way smaller. It's more rounded, feels a lot better in the hand. Not nearly as wide, just a much, much better form factor than the 680. It really is. And the other thing that you also notice, it still is a 320 by 320 screen. And what that does is it means that it looks much better than the 680 screen just because the pixels are packed in a much smaller space. So there you go. Let's also take a look of it next to the Blackjack. Blackjack is also on AT&T. It's sort of meant to be a media smartphone. It is not as wide or as tall as the Blackjack. It is thicker, of course, although if you include that little hump at the top of the Blackjack, the difference isn't that big. And of course, it is, as I said, a little bit thicker, but it feels really great in the hand. It feels much more phone-like than the Blackjack. And here's another one, T-Mobile Dash, also a consumer-level smartphone. T-Mobile Dash is much thinner, but still, I still think it feels much better. Now here's the RAZR 2, sort of the device that the Centro is meant to be up against. And as you can see, it is taller and thicker, of course, than the RAZR, but of course, it also does quite a bit more. The really surprising thing to me, though, first of all, the screen is actually smaller in some ways than the RAZR's, but the keyboard is actually in a smaller space than the regular, 10, 12 key keyboard on the RAZR. The RAZR's got that big keypad, and they fit a QWERTY keyboard in a smaller area overall than they had it on the RAZR for its regular keyboard. And now we're taking a look at the screen. As you can see, it is really sharp. There it is up against the 680, as I said before. Much, much sharper. Looks so much better. And for my eyes, doesn't really hurt readability, but I guess I'm still a relatively young pup, so maybe it's not that big a deal. And here's the apps. You can see My Centro, all the standard Palm OS apps, newest version of Documents to go, some stuff to let you download Nuance. Google Maps is built in. Full version of Pocket Tunes Deluxe. That's great. There's Sudoku. That's built in. That's kind of cute. People like that. And of course, there's the IM app that made its debut on Sprint 755p, and it works about the same here on the Centro. We'll have more information about that on the full review, but so far, yeah, not too bad. So there you go. That's what's built into the Centro, and I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with it. Oh, quick pause there. Now we're actually going to take a look at the keyboard again more closely. I know this is the big question on it. As you can see, it's pretty flat, and as I said in the earlier video, it's sheet printed. It's all one size, or all one sheet. And you can also see there it is up against the 680. The buttons don't stick out quite as far. They are a bit smaller, more tightly packed. But again, I'll do another quick test here. There, again, showing you how to type on the keyboard, and you just type. And if you use the tips of your thumbs or perhaps your fingernails, it's really not too bad. So here I am going at a relatively heady clip, not too fast, not too slow, and I was able to type on it pretty easily. I'm gonna have to hit delete here a couple of times, but all in all, much faster than you're gonna get with T9 on a RAZR 2, for example. So there you go. That's my initial 2-minute impressions of the Centro, and we are going to have a full review for you as soon as I can get it done.